All right, we've got no script today, no teleprompter. It's gonna be bad. Also, all the footage in this video you're gonna see is filmed on the iPhone 13 Pro in ProRes using the Filmic app. I'll never do that again. The worst decision I've ever made is to shoot an entire video on my mobile device. Nope, back to my FX3 I go. This is the 7200 2.8, a much needed refresh in the lineup. That's the version 1 right there. It wasn't very good and I just got it fixed. It's a lot better now. Tamron, 70 to 180, about half the price of these. I'm gonna compare all 3 lenses in this video when it comes to image quality and autofocusing. Those are the 2 most important aspects of any lens in my opinion. And Sony did a lot more to this lens that, you know, I expected them to, including this. It's pretty ridiculous how light this thing is. For the focusing test, I used focus area tracking wide. I had one objective when doing that test. How do these lenses perform when you're taking photos and you're racking the zoom? The Tamron performed terribly. I probably had more out of focus photos than in focus while she was running away and toward the camera. This is the 70-200 version 1. I recently got it back from Sony Pro Support because it had a back focusing issue. Imagine having a nearly $3,000 lens having a back focusing issue. And this has been a thing. If you look online, you will see. But comparing the autofocusing systems of both, it's night and day. It's quieter, it's faster, it's more accurate. Now, this one does hold its own. This one, I don't think it missed focus once. I did not see one, and I repeated it 3 times. Versus this one, I did see a couple that were slightly back focused. Again, like it couldn't keep up with her when she was moving forward, but overall, performance of these are pretty good. This one is just in a different league. Image quality. The big one. I took photos of my wife in my studio using the Manny Ortiz Beauty Dish. You should go check it out. It's a nice modifier. It had a streak of light hitting the backdrop. Is there a big jump? Not a big jump. All 3 lenses perform very well. They're all very sharp lenses. This one is the sharpest, not surprising. Now, I also took some photos of the retail box of my newly launched Beauty Dish to look at the corner sharpness. It's not even close. To test how these lenses deal with flaring, I put a strobe on the left side of Diana mimicking the sun, blasting light straight into the lenses with no lens hood. The version 2 does a better job than the version 1, slightly better. And the Tamron is just all hell's breaking loose. It's just one big flare, but that could actually be a nice thing. Sony also made some changes to the lens design and added a couple extra features on the version 2. Right away, you see that the focus ring is a little smaller on the new version, but I feel like that's to kind of make up for the aperture ring that's now included on the version 2. On the 70-200 version 2, you do have a couple extra switches on the lens. You got full-time DMF, which is new. And you also, on the mode, you have 3 different options, where on the old one, you only have 2. And at the bottom of the lens, you have an iris lock switch, and that's gonna lock your aperture ring so you don't bump it and change your aperture. Now, the big headline for this lens is the fact that it's 30%, about 30% lighter than the original. That's actually a big deal. I mean, until you actually hold this in your hand, It almost feels like it's just like an empty casing of a lens when you compare it to something like this. And in a long day of use, let's say you're hand holding, it's gonna make a massive difference. I don't know how they did this. I can one hand this. If you are a hybrid shooter, you're gonna like this one. Sony's claiming that this lens is also optimized for video, specifically focus breathing. It's gonna give you a cinema lens-like experience when you're rack focusing from a far point to a close point. It's not gonna look like you're changing focal length. It's not zooming in and out. And this lens performs very well. A lot better than the version 1. And in my opinion, this is a big win. Sony had one job with this lens. Just make it focus better. That's all I wanted. But instead they made it sharper. They made it focus a lot better. It's 30% lighter, which is a big deal when you finally hold this in your hand. And now it's also optimized for video. It's giving you a cinema lens-like experience. So this is truly a hybrid shooter's lens. So big W's on Sony's refresh. 30% lighter. Look at this thing, man. It's so light. How's your anxiety right now? I used to play baseball. It's a little league. I was in the all-star team every year, so trust my catching skills. And also, yeah, check out the Manny Ortiz Beauty Dish. What are you waiting for? 36 inches, good for full body, good for close-ups. It's the all-in-one modifier. I'll leave a link for the Manny Ortiz Beauty Dish down below.